Bratianu had it all figured out. A less than loathsome wife, a couple of children to establish the legacy, and a cozy position as his father's heir. If only his father would croak, though. The old bat seemed to have many talents, but meeting with abysses on time was not one of them. This is why it had seemed so perfect, perhaps too perfect, when word spread of an expedition hosted by a young soldier. You see, moseying up to Earl Vash for a few months had given him quite the scoop on that. Sure, the proclivities of the Earl were questionable at best, downright repulsive at worst, but they were a manageable price to pay for information from the ranks that wanted the council. No, that expedition was doomed to fail, a setup from the start, a distraction for the common populace, a means to get rid of people that were difficult to pull in line for others. The city was already sold after all, and he supposed that he could frame selling his own father off in such a manner as a sort of mercy. The fact that such mercy paid in a sizable chunk of land did not hurt. I suppose that is why it seemed so easy, and it all seemed so needlessly complicated and distant. Though I suppose that everything seemed a bit distant when you are in the backseat of your own body. The ache in his bloody knuckles not present, and somehow the mad cackling of his father louder than anyone. The scene before him kind of reminded him of an old memory. When his father had taken him to one of the abattoirs across town, where he was made to watch burly men get their hands dirty with literal blood and piss and shit, all to teach him some sort of life lesson about working the lives that you're being given. The only thing that stood out now was how oblivious the pigs were to their fate, and how all of them squealed before the butcher. He noted with mild interest, which was as much as he could muster in an old state. He supposed he understood now why this group had made it. Perhaps the Duke regretted the decision he made. Perhaps the concepts of hope and vengeance were stronger than he had given them credit for. And perhaps none of it mattered now. I suppose that nothing mattered anymore when you're kidnapping and torturing the second most influential man in the nation. Perhaps he should have just waited more patiently. Some people just refuse to die, after all. In light of a series of unfortunate events, Baron Dragomir steps up and maintains the seat at the head of the house, because it seems his own good-for-nothing son suffered some sort of horrendous mental break under the pressure of being an heir. With Vorgan's support, he establishes a rather fortuitous mining operation by usurping the land of a neighboring baron, mining the precious silver and the much-contended, valuable, meteoric cluster of black steel in turn. All in all, retirement is a rather pleasant affair. All in all, retirement is a rather pleasant affair for the baron, though the spirit world will always remain a corner of his vision.